Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am joined again with my good old friend Callum, which means one of two things. We're discussing Liverpool or we're discussing UFC. And today we're discussing UFC 275 making its debut in Singapore this weekend for Glover Teixeira versus Jiri Prochazka and Valentina Shevchenko versus Talia Santos. Yes, got her first name correct. How are you doing, Callum?
Not too bad. Looking forward to the card. Looking forward to chopping up first and foremost. Thanks for having me back on the channel.
No problem.
Looking forward to this card, man.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to this card. Like, obviously we've got the title fight, but we have the returning Queen of the Straw, well, former Queen of the Strawweights.
Oh, and a champion.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Wei Li. Number one contenders bout, as Dana confirmed, for Carla Esparza after less said about that the better.
Big implications on this.
I
kind of feel as though whoever wins this kind of automatically feels like they're going to be the next champion.
Yeah, it just feels like it feels like time's just going back in full circle.
It's crazy.
Joanna goes and beats Carla. Rose gets a win and goes, "Oh, hello, old friend."
Yeah. Crazy.
Would you like a trilogy? So yeah, it's gonna be crazy. And then also on the card we've got flyweight action between Bontarine and Manu Cape, and then we got welterweights at the beginning. And I should have done my research because I forgot who's at the start of the card.
Yeah, for you, I got it.
I think
it is. No, I've just lost it.
It is. If my thing worked, it's Jack Della Maddalena and
versus Emiv.
So that looks like a fun bout, and obviously this card was supposed to have Robert Whittaker and Marvin Vettori, but that's been cancelled and rescheduled for the Paris card in September. Right, shall we start at the main event?
Let's do it.
Glover Teixeira, oldest first-time champion in UFC history.
Yeah.
Beating the likes of Verdum, Bisping to that title. Versus Jiri Prochazka, literally made his UFC debut 2 fights ago. Brutal knockouts to Odemir, and probably one of the most brutal knockouts I have seen. The spinning back elbow to Dominic Reyes. It's gonna be a cracker. We've got the knockout artist and the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt specialist. It's gonna be a cracker.
Definitely. I think even though Yuri's a knockout artist, he's a man that likes to punish his opponent. It's not just usually when he gets to finish, it's a one and done with the technique he throws, but before he gets to finish, he systematically beats his opponents down. Like, we saw Dominic Reyes in there with Blachowicz, and obviously he lost that fight, but he still gave a decent account of himself. Saw him in there with John Jones in a fight that I thought he won.
Same.
In the fight against Jiri, he was constantly on the back foot, getting beaten from pillar to post, and the finish was crazy.
He wasn't completely getting battered to pillar and post. Like, he threw some, like, Prochazka got hit like more than I thought it had, like that Max Holloway chin, Tony Ferguson before Gaethje type chin. Like, I'll get hit, but I'll keep on coming.
Yeah,
which is a scary thing. I think before the UFC, he is one of the only people to beat the current Bellator light heavyweight champion. Like, I think he finished him as well. So, like, this guy's like no joke. Like, when you're making your UFC debut and you're fighting a ranked guy already, that shows what type of fighter you are. Because usually when you debut in the UFC,
just outside the top 15,
just
inside.
15. You're fighting inside the top 10 in your first fight.
It's crazy, and he's looked brilliant. But Glover, can you bet against Glover? I mean, we saw Blachowicz versus Rakic, and that was a hell of a fight before obviously the injury.
Yeah.
Glover dealt with Blachowicz pretty handily.
Yeah.
Made it look pretty easily.
Like with Glover's like the betting underdog, which is crazy considering that he's the champ. But when
I
you
mean,
look
it's not the first time against Anthony Smith, he was the underdog. Against Thiago Santos,
underdog,
underdog.
yeah.
Lajovic, underdog, underdog again.
But I
It's
think
nothing new for him.
But I think Glover said like he doesn't mind it. He doesn't mind being the underdog because he knows the pressure's not on him. Like deep,
Yeah.
like even though he's got the belt, people know like oh he's just a placeholder. Just keep it warm for Jiri, and then when Jiri comes and finishes him, then it'll be like, thanks Glover, you can have your retirement fight in November in New York. Then you can, sail off into the sunset. And if people think like Glover's gonna get rolled over and have his belly tickled and go, yeah, thank you, I'll take your belt.
Mm-hmm.
I think you saw it in that Blachowicz fight. I think he was severely underestimated. Like this guy, the second you get dragged to the mat, like he tapped out Blachowicz, tapped out Santos, brutally.
And he brutally beat up Anthony Smith on the ground as well.
Like someone that he'd consider like a friend as well. Like they're like quite buddy outside the octagon. So this guy's a killer in his own right.
Now you've said that, I'll be honest, I'm going Glover.
Yeah, do you know what? Yeah, so am I. Like I'm enjoying this fairy tale.
I think he sees out the first round. I think Jiri gets a little tired, and then we see the ground game come into play in the wrestling, and I think he finishes him on the ground in the second round.
Yeah, I do feel like because obviously Yuri's been training with Henry Cejudo out in Arizona, and Triple C has had this effect with the fighters that have come in. They've had not great ground games, and then obviously when they fought, the ground game has massively improved. Just look at Wei Li in the Rose 2 fight, and then who was the other fighter?
Davison.
Was it Figueiredo? In
Davison,
the Moreno fight. It was different. However, I don't know whether or not he's going to be able to stop Glover taking him down, the guy that has been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long he's going to be able to keep it up, and on Glover's end, like how long can he take the punishment of Jiri? Is he gonna? I wouldn't say is his body gonna give out, but is like the chin gonna go? And I was like, okay, maybe it's time. It's such a fascinating matchup, but I do think we're gonna get I think this is gonna be probably the biggest shock on the card, which is crazy. But people expect Glover to just get smashed, and Jiri can be that guy to dominate. But I think people are going to be in for a bit of a rude awakening. I think Glover.
It almost feels a little bit like Francis versus Stipe the first time, where everyone wrote off Stipe, but Stipe went and got it done. I feel like we're going to see something similar.
It's got new tricks still, so he's no mug. So you're going with a finish. Which round?
Second round.
And I'm going with a finish. Third round, but I'm going by submission. I think he's going to tap him out in Singapore.
I do as well. I think he'll be rear naked.
Yeah, same here. And just one more thing before we move on to the co-main event. Should have been in Brazil. Should have given him the Brazil.
I mean, so should Charles as well. Charles should have fought in Brazil as well.
Yeah, that was going to be the rumour that it was going to be Charles Gaethje, Charles Gaethje and Glover Jiri in Brazil this month. Have been.
They would have deserved it, both of them.
Yeah, both. Yeah, it would be crazy. I don't think Glover's gonna fight in Brazil in his career. Right, on to the main event.
He will. I think he'll get one in before he retires.
Yeah, I hope so because he's a pioneer.
Yeah.
On to the co-main. Probably, if you're betting any money, you're putting your mortgage on it. This is, in bookies' eyes, this is the safest bet to keep your money on, and that's Valentina Shevchenko making her, is it a 6th defense of a UFC flyweight gold against Talia Santos. Talia Santos coming off a really good win against Joanne Wood. I think she finished up by Was it
She
strikes?
did by strikes, yeah.
Yeah, finished her with strikes. It was a good fight. I thought she dominated Wood from start to finish. And then Valentina's coming off. Oh, who did she fight last? Valentina. It seemed like a while ago since she fought.
Her last fight was.
I'm trying to think. It wasn't Jessica Andrade.
No, it wasn't Andrade. Oh.
Trying to think. I swear, like, I remember doing a watch along for.
We did.
Her.
And she won pretty convincingly. Let me double check.
Andrade.
Lauren Murphy.
Oh, Lauren Murphy. Yeah, finished her. That was on the Ortega.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on the Ortega Volkanovski card.
Yeah. Finished her with strikes.
Is this the safest bet on the card? Do you think, or do you think we're gonna, or she's finally gonna get the test we have all been craving?
So here's the thing. Talia's taller than her by an inch. She's got reach on her. She's a good striker as well, but also her ground game is brilliant. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going against Valentina, because that, for me, would be crazy. But we have seen some strange things happen recently. We saw Carla lose to Rose. You saw Carla beat Rose. Saw Pena beat Nunes.
Tap Nunes as well.
Taps Nunes. I think Valentina gets it done, but I think it's a very tough fight, and I think it goes all 5.
Okay, I think. Talia said something in the press conference, and I was like, last person to said that got finished, and that was Jessica Andrade. Said, I'm going to take it to the ground. The ground game's not great. And Talia Santos said pretty much the same thing, saying, yeah, her ground game's good. My ground game is pretty much like elite. And I'm thinking, yeah, you're getting so finished, aren't you?
I mean, Talia's kind of true.
Yeah.
I do think Valentina's ground game is elite, but so is Talia's.
Yeah, but she's a Brazilian fighter, so it's pretty much guaranteed she's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
So, with that, it's such a tough one. I do think it's going to go 5 rounds. I think this is going to be the toughest fight, her toughest fight since she fought Nunes too.
Yeah.
And I think she'll win by split decision. I don't think she's going to have
split.
Yeah,
I think it'll be unanimous.
Yeah, I feel like this could be the toughest fight of her flyweight career, because let's be honest, like, we're running out of contenders here, and like she might have
to do next though.
Well, obviously, depending on how fights play out, we could see her versus Miesha Tate at the back end of this year.
Yeah,
providing
big money fight.
It's a big money fight, and like, let's be honest, she deserves a payday. Like she deserves a payday, and obviously, I do think what happens at bantamweight. I think, do not be surprised if she goes, yeah, it's time to go back for gold again, to be double champ, because I think the time has come. We're all wanting her versus Pena, or her versus Amanda. And Pena said like she'd come down to 125 to take her belt to become double champ. I'm thinking, okay. And Valentina said, yeah, I'll come up and I'll take that belt to take her belt.
If I'm Pena, I'm staying at 35 and making her come up in weight.
Yeah, because flyweight for her is like the perfect weight, and if she sweeps up in the UFC, Dana's gonna have to offer big money, because like, she's a fighter's fighter. Like we're seeing, like boxing, you could easily see her in the boxing ring, and like she would not look out of place at all.
Definitely wouldn't.
No, I think I'd back her to be like the first UFC fighter to actually get a win in like a boxing ring, and not get embarrassed by a boxer.
She's amazing. Like, she's a phenomenal fighter. Like, she's one of my favorite to watch.
Yeah, I think she's grown on me. She's grown on me a lot. I think the first fight I saw of her was her versus Kate. Was it Shukagian? I think I saw that fight, and I was quite impressed, and I was like, yeah, she's just grown on me since. Like, she is like the Thanos of the women's division. She is inept. Like, run from it, hide from it. She will come and find you, and she will come and finish you.
Yeah, I said she might have obviously Izzy, but she may have the purest. She may be the most well-rounded mixed martial artist, male or female.
Oh, that's a good shout, actually. Currently. Oh, I would have said Jones is definitely...
I don't think Jones's striking is as clean as Valentina's.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Her technique is so clean, it's almost flawless.
So crisp. But I reckon, like, if she took time away, I reckon she could actually get her frame properly up to bantamweight. But she just wants to fight. She just wants to keep on fighting. So we're both going for her to keep the belt. You're going unanimous. I'm going she's going to keep it by the skin of her teeth. I think we're going to...
4 rounds to 1.
4 rounds to 1. I'm going 3-2 to her. I'm going to give her a little bit more credit. I'm going to give her a little bit more hope. A little bit more hope.
I think Santos pulls off a good performance and shows the world that she's...
Yeah, she's definitely here to stay. Next fight on the card, flyweight action at the moment. The flyweight division, it's cooking. It's cooking a little bit.
Big fight.
Bontarim versus Manu Cape. Manu Cape, Portuguese fighter. I think he's coming off a win.
With a massive reputation.
Got a massive reputation. He does the Ronaldo celebration. Probably the only thing I don't like, to be honest. And plus, his name's called Starboy, so I might dislike him even more. Because we were talking on the phone about how much I do not like the word Starboy when it comes to...
Bukayo Saka, is
he? Bukayo Starboy Saka, yeah. Yeah, he's coming off a win against Ode Osborne. First round knockout. And before that, he definitely lost his first 2. He lost to Mateusz Nikolai and Alexander Pantoja. So he has fought against, I'd say, elite opposition. So this is just another test for him. And Bontarim lost to Brandon Royval via decision. I swear he was the one that jumped up the bantamweight and somehow missed the bantamweight weight limit.
Yeah.
Because there was a flyweight that did that. But it's a difficult one because I think he's top 10, Bontarim. So if Van Cape gets the victory here, we're talking he's in the top 10.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at, because there was a fight that's just fallen through. That was Alex Perez versus Alex Perez and Brandon Royval fell through. And you know what, maybe the winner of this comes off unscathed. Maybe they could do a quick turnaround to fight again, because Dana loves fighters that seem to turn them around quickly. Because I know he's not fighting on the card, but there is another flyweight that seems to be stirring a few pots, and that's Mukayev. Like saying, I'll fight London as well. And
I like Mukayev. And
then Jeff Molina tweeted, and then Jeff Molina tweeted him as him with the daddy, and he's like the little kid. So this bantamweight division is popping at the moment.
I'm gonna go Manuel for this though. I think the first 2 fights was him getting used to the surroundings. Yeah. Now I feel he kind of got nothing to lose now, because when you come in from a different promotion with all that hype, the last thing you want to do is an aspirin. You don't want to go in a devastating fashion, quote unquote. He's lost 2. He's kind of got nothing to lose. It's almost like when Bernard Hopkins, he lost his very first fight, and after that he was like, well, what am I fearing? I've already lost. That's the worst that can happen to me. I think Manuel's going to throw the kitchen sink at this, and I think he's going to get the win. I think he finishes. I
do feel like with him, especially in his first 2, he was a bit standoffish, he didn't want to engage. Maybe it was the bright lights of the UFC, because when the UFC come knocking, it's a different knock. Yeah. Than the other organisations. But I'm going to go Manu Cape as well. I think he's a I'm not going to say it. He's a potential star in the making. The opener on the card is Jack. Get this right, because Della Maddalena, Australian, got a lot of hype. I've seen a couple of his highlights. This guy's a finisher.
Yeah,
This
brutal.
guy's an absolute finisher. And the guy he's fighting is Razman Emu. Yeah, 20. Emiv, 20-5. This is one of the fights where you're thinking, who are they? And then they always have a banger. So
Yeah.
I'm expecting this to be a banger of a fight.
I am as well, and I think it almost helps when the crowd don't know too much about these fights. And I think you're starting to see UFC do this quite a lot more. They'll stack a card with 4 fights, and they'll throw in a random fight where you're like, oh, I don't know much about these two. I think it's a smart thing from the UFC because there's such little expectation, because there's not worldwide knowledge on them. You kind of go into it as a blank canvas where you're just like, okay, we'll see what happens, and they end up being great fights. We saw it with we've seen it a few times with Shane Burgos. Now.
Yes,
like he's probably the one that springs to mind when you think he's gone from being a fighter that's not really known to a fighter who's like, oh, Shane's on the card, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, better tune in.
I think we're gonna see that from these two. I think they're gonna throw leather in. I think we're gonna have an exciting fight.
Yeah. Any predictions on it? I'm gonna go Jake.
I'm going Jake as well
because he's the younger guy. And I think he's got a big future at welterweight. Just, I don't know whether or not you've seen the prelims. Before we go, any fight to watch out on the prelims?
We double check the prelims.
Because I've got one. I don't know whether or not I'm going to take it off you. It's going to be Andre Fiallo versus Jake Matthews.
Yeah, that's the one then.
Yeah.
Fiallo. I'm surprised that's not on the main card. Fiallo,
yeah, I'm surprised that's not on the main card.
Against Pereira, didn't he?
Yeah, like he's had like a great time, and then obviously, the headliner of the prelims, Brendan Allen versus Jacob Malkoun, sparring partner of Robert Whittaker. So it'll be very interested to see how that goes. Brendan Allen, I think, is in the top 15 at middleweight, so that'd be an interesting bout. Prelims look, it's got a few bangers on there. So
yeah, tidy prelims.
The UFC stacking up the card for its Singapore debut. Very thank you to Callum.
Hold on, one fight. We haven't done Joanna.
Oh,
Joanna Wei Lee.
Wow.
Fight of the year candidate. Fight of the year.
Oh, I feel like I need to like exit the building.
Come on, Luke. You cannot forget these teams.
I just forgot that team. It's a big team, but I forgot the team. Yeah, how could I forget the rematch we all want to see? I'm still annoyed it's 3 rounds, to be honest. I
like it. I like it that it's 3 rounds.
You like it?
It's got to be a sprint.
Winner gets a title shot. Been confirmed by Uncle Dana. Joanna said like she's got a lot of things that she wants to correct from that fight. Loads of mistakes. Wei Lee, she's on the 2 fights.
So let's cut you. Who did you have win the first fight? Because I had Joanna.
I had Joanna, but I understood why the judges gave it to Wei Lee.
Yeah, same.
Because her head was like a
balloon.
balloon.
Definitely not robbery or anything like that.
If her head wasn't like a balloon,
yeah,
I think Joanna gets it. It's like a balloon. It's like
a head massive balloon. Her head was a balloon. You should have seen it.
Yeah, it's crazy because like Wei Lee's like on the 2 fight losing streak, and like
both to the same person though, isn't it?
Yeah, but both need to snap out, especially Joanna, right? Like we call her queen of the strawweights. She is like 0-4 in the last 4. Okay, take into consideration. She fought Wei Lee, Rose twice, and Valentina.
Oh no, didn't I'm pretty sure she won a fight. Wasn't it Michelle Waterson she beat in that period as well?
Oh yeah, I mean 0-4 in her last title fights. I mean, forgot. Yeah, cause she's 0-4 in her last 4 title fights.
She's only lost in the UFC. She's all her 4 losses have come in the UFC, so she was undefeated literally until Rose.
No, lost to Valentina, didn't she?
No, her first loss. Sorry, her first loss was the Rose. Then she had the rematch and lost that. Then it was the Valentina, and she lost that because she moved up to 125.
Yes.
Then she had the Wei Lee. Well, then she beat Waterson, if I'm not mistaken. then got the Wei Lee fight, and then lost that.
And then it's taken some well needed time off.
A
I thought
lot
she
of
was
time.
done. I thought she was
I
done,
think she's
but
got more in the tank.
she's got more in the tank. And to be honest, like whoever's winning this is probably thinking, yeah, like we're like
They're licking their lips. They're licking their lips, thinking they can. Especially Joanna, how she destroyed Carla the first time.
As if she's probably thinking, yeah, you're keeping that warm for me, keeping that warm. But like Whaley and like another camp with Triple C. Like that ground game, that wrestling's going to improve again, and maybe that might be her keys to victory, the ground game. Because Joanna is an elite kickboxer, but I don't know if her ground game. I know she trains at ATT, and ATT have got elite grapplers.
Yeah.
But I'm just worrying. She's octagon rusty. And
the one thing with Joanna though, she may get taken down, but she always gets back up.
Always pops back up like Rose in a fat. So I see that. I don't see it going like the Rose Whaley 2. I do agree with you. It's going to be a much more of a bigger sprint, but I'm edging towards. I'll let you go first because I'm still Nara. I just
put your neck out there, Luke.
Oh, screw it. I'm gonna go Joanna. I just think the time off might have done her well. And with Whaley, I feel like with her game, she's still evolving her game. I think when she said that when she went to Triple C, like she's seen stuff like she's never seen before. So she's still learning. It's just wondering how long it's going to take for her to download in her fighting style, to download that information to get it all working together. Because like MMA over in China, it's miles behind. And considering that she got to where she is,
it's incredible.
It's pretty much incredible. That's why I'm going Joanna.
All right, I'm gonna go for Wei Lee, and it's because of the wrestling. As much as I think it will be a good fight, I don't think it will be as exciting as the first one. I don't think it can be, because both women know what to expect from each other. If it becomes a dogfight, I think it'll be more of a technical affair. I think Wei Lee will look to take Joanna to the ground a lot more and try and impose her will there. I won't say it's going to be a boring fight, but I don't think it's going to be exciting as the first one.
No.
And because of the hype and expectation of us fans, because of seeing the first one, I don't think it's going to be able to live up to it.
No.
But at the same time, if it lives up to the first one, we're in for a massive treat.
In for a treat.
Massive treat. But I don't see it happening. But that's the reason I go Wei Lee. I think she uses her wrestling and does that to get the job done, in my opinion.
Yeah, so you're going Wei Lee, I'm going you're going Wei Lee, I'm going Joanna. Right, that's the card done. I've not missed out any other fights on this card.
No, you're good.
No, missed it out. Massive thank you to Callum for joining me this this morning. This will be out on Friday. This will be out later on during the day. But a massive thank you for Callum for joining. Without him, this would not be possible. It would be. Not be possible. And make sure to subscribe to Kopish. But most important of all, because Kopish have got 25k subs, they're fine. But we need Sanderson Show. The subs are lacking behind. Come on, we need to get to 1,000 subs.
Yeah, trying
for
to.
Callum. ASAP. Great MMA content on there. And make sure to follow him on Twitter as well. We'll be back on Saturday on the Sanderson Show for our UFC 275 watch along. It's been a while since you've done one.
Early hours.
I thought, considering that it was in Singapore, I thought they were going to help a couple of brothers out.
They changed it to American time.
I thought, no. You get your UFC London.
Yeah.
That's your treat from us.
I was fuming.
No, it's crazy. Make sure to follow Callum on Twitter. I will be back tomorrow, but I'll be on the LFC Day Trippers from 10 o'clock with Chris, Kev, and I think a couple of the guys from Rivalry Side TV. So make sure you tune in then. We'll talk everything from transfers with Liverpool and Tottenham and all the other clubs as well. So make sure you tune into that. And
Shout out to Kevin Chris.
pardon?
Shout out to Kevin Chris.
Yeah, shout out to Kevin Chris as well. And
Love those two.
And I'll see you tomorrow on Day Trippers, and I will see you, Callum, on Saturday at 3 a.m.
Yeah, well, Sunday morning.
That's Sunday. Yeah, I'll see you Sunday morning, 3 a.m. for UFC 275. Thanks everyone, and make sure to like, share, and subscribe as well. We passed 50 subs, so let's see if we can push it.
There we go.
Let's see if we can
Get
just
to
keep
100.
climbing. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you very soon.